TV. And what makes us a little bit different, my name's Wayne, by the way. Usually we have 2 more guys here, but they had some personal things to take care of. We don't have funerals to attend, and we don't have an unfortunate circumstance to arise this week. It's personal, so they're not going to make it. So they are, my thoughts are personal. So, what makes us a little different though in our investigations is that we broadcast everything we do live. So if something happens at a common location or supposed common location, you'll see at the same time that we see or here. Well, sometimes cameras say they don't like picking stuff up. You guys have you ever done ghost hunting or anything?
Not officially yet.
Yeah, we actually, this is Seeking Casper, they're friends of ours. We just teamed up with them like 6 weeks ago or something like that, and we all went out there to the yeah, there's a bar at a place. That's not for us. That was really cool. Come on. We're just getting started. I'll redo my introduction. You guys sit down. That's not for us. You have a camera behind you that's running live, so go away. Say hi to the rest of the world.
10 seconds.
There you go. So, explaining to them that I'm on Paranormal TV. My name's Wayne. I usually have 2 others here. My 2 teammates are not here for personal reasons. So they're navigating those issues. So I came out on my own, and then I thought, well, I got to speak by myself. I'm grabbing my friends up here, and they're going to speak here too. These are my friends, Seeking Casper. They're actually from the Crawfordsville area. So they're your criminal team post at River Jail. So if you guys have been out there, go out there. It's a really cool location. When I visit out there, I've actually been there twice. 2 years ago, during my investigation there, we found the sheriff's residence was way more active than the jail. The river stories go both directions. You guys read that kind of thing? We both have dinner tables on the other side of the room. Just explaining to those 2 that what makes my paranormal team a little different than most is we broadcast the majority of everything we do live. So if something happens, you see it or hear it at the same time. If nothing happens, then we'll all work it. That's what it is. Yes. Yeah, so sometimes they'll hear something we won't. We're just keep rambling and they'll comment on the feed. And so we'll get to see their comments sometimes. We don't get to read all the comments that come through. We have a few that tune in and they kind of join the investigation on their own from wherever they're at through the live feed. We got a couple of mediums that watch us, and so they're blurting out stuff in the comments and things like that. And occasionally they nail something, which is pretty wild. And the devices that we use, sometimes like when they're doing that in the feed, the devices will react to it. Sure, how all that happens, but it's pretty cool. My theory on that is it's like a frequency. So, you know, people use radio frequencies and they scan radios to get voices and things like that. And some people question that and they're like, well, you're getting radio stations. Well, yeah, you're scanning through all those radio stations. But more times than not, you'll get multiple orders for a whole sentence. That's not possible on the radio stations themselves because they're scanning about a second frequency. So it's not possible for those to put together a full sentence, especially when it's responding to a question that you just asked. So it's no different than with our cell phones. All those, they're putting on the frequency. And so some of those apps that are out there, we use a few of them. I'll be honest, most of the apps are cool and I can't work with anything. But there are a few apps out there that are really sweet. I test out a lot of them all the time just because I'm trying to find good ones. So we use a few. We use those 2, Spirit Talker, Necrophonic, I think is what it's called. We use that one. There's one that came out about a year or so ago. still trying to figure that one out. It's a little more difficult to get to use than some of those. So I don't know how good it is just yet. It seems to work for him, but so I like the other thing. I think Spirit Talker cost a little bit. But those two basic, I believe, is free. If you want all the features those two does, your library has. It's got some other attached features to it, like goes to Seer, which is really cool because it will show a photo for you. And I found that to be fairly legit. And to explain that, we were at an auction house in Atlanta, and we were doing an investigation there. And in one of their cabinets, they have a whole bunch of history. They're very old. And they get the key to the cabinets. So we go through some of those. And as we were going through them, we had those two Seer running. And we were asking for some photos from that. And we got a few photos that came through, and the Seer photo looked like the dead person photo. And some of the others good. They were kind of violent. Some of them were, people like that, things like that. But, so it was kind of wild that that gave us this. So, and that's a good place. It's called the auction house. Investigator, you go out there, you know someone who is, and you see what's in there. It's a great place to go. Very awesome. And it's a big place. There's lots of Owensboro, Kentucky. It's called the auction house. It's really cool. The host people are awesome. Timmy and Angel are great PSC callers. They are really great hosts. They have their own team and they investigate around the country as well. So they're a lot of fun here around. I've not been to Waverly yet. That's on my list. They have.
We used to play hide and seek when I grew up down there. So we played hide and seek.
That's what it is. Yeah, I definitely get to Waverly sometimes. Most of the stuff that my team has done is been and there's still a lot of places in the community that haven't been. We got a park that's 6 miles long. But most of these places cost money. And it's, I always say it's the best hobby in the world, but it's inexpensive. And you gotta hold down regular jobs and pay your regular bills every day and stuff like that. There's only so much room you got for your favorite hobby. But it's great. I wouldn't deter anybody from doing it as long as you're not too scared to do it. It's awesome. And it is expensive. So, what do you guys want to add to the story?
it's amazing that, I mean, every time you go in, there's something that's always doing a little bit different. So that was,
There was a home two hangings in 1885, 86. Also had a right there and maximum security by fire.
and bring up your fire, for weddings, Tuesdays there.
We got activities.
Yeah.
It's the only place I've ever gotten sick at. I've been doing this about 9 years and I've never felt ill in any location I've ever been at. And in the basement, probably or brewery, I got sick in my stomach. And I thought I could just kind of blow it off, no big deal, but it just kept getting worse and worse. And I was like, guys, I gotta stay outside. It's the only place that's ever happened to us 2 years ago. Hasn't happened since, so I definitely want to go back and, not that I want to get ill feeling again, but see if it happens again. I'd try it. Hopefully it would not. And that was early, we did 2 nights that time that I was out there. And that happened the first night. So the second night, I stayed away from it after I went out there and for the rest of the first night. The second night I went back and I didn't get that feeling. It was a little uneasy, but I never really got feeling ill. So it was kind of like one of those, go conquer your fear and go back down there and do it all over again. You definitely want to come back sometime and do multiple nights. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different. She was mentioning footsteps. You get lots of footsteps there. We had them on the jail side, and we definitely had them in the sheriff's residence. At one point, we just finished doing a live session, and we were on the main floor. And it's what, 3 floors up. And as the stairs go up, you lose the carpet, and then you have carpet. And so you walk on that, and you're over here. And then there's an attic door. We just finished our session. We're all downstairs. We take a moment and listen to drink and chill out for a minute. And clear as day, we heard somebody go up the wooden steps and through the attic door. And there was nobody up there. It was just the 4 of us in the house. It was pretty wild. Oh yeah. If you ever get in there and you open and close the door, you'll hear it. And like footsteps on the hardwood stairs up there, you walk on it and that sound. Yeah, that's exactly what we heard. We all kind of looked at each other a minute. A couple of my guys took off upstairs and was like, grab cameras and like, go up there and catch something. Of course, then nothing. You get up there and it's quiet as can be. It's pretty cool. Reviews? So, yeah, kind of. So, we used to, all the time, we used to pray and pray out. So we stopped doing the praying because we didn't want to block it. And so if we go to a place and we have any sort of negativity to it, we will pray out before. Just to see if it helps keep us safe. Kind of I have done a cleansing location before, where we use sage and we use prayer, some other stuff. It seemed to work for a short time, where the girl's activity just completely died off. And a handful of months later, she said, whatever it is back. And so I went back out, sure enough, it was activity. So we did it all over. And she was my lease is up soon, I'm getting out of here. So I was like, fair enough. And then that one was pretty cool. The first time I was over there, it wasn't in, I wouldn't say it was a bad neighborhood, not the greatest neighborhood, but it's really dark where the house is at. Corner towards the back of the neighborhood. And where I usually carry, so I didn't have my hood on me at the time. And we were sitting there interviewing, and her garage door, sounds like the garage door goes open. And I said, expecting something? Because her eyes opened up. And I said, are you expecting something? She said, no. And I said, stay there. So I go around the back part of the house where you get to the garage. And I went around that way and the garage door. We all know what a garage door sounds like. You know, this is exactly what it sounds like. Clear as day, the garage door full. So that was pretty wild. That was a first. She had never heard the garage door. She didn't even her daughter had all her stuff going out to her closet at one time, and she kept floating through that. It was pretty wild. Yeah. This literally took everything off of her top shelf in her closet, her clothes that were hanging, everything was just thrown across the room. And then she stopped staying in the room. She just stayed in the room. There was another room right out the back, kind of like a sitting room, if you will. She started taking up everything. He didn't pack anything. Whatever it was, threw it all over the place. So you guys came in a little bit later, and I didn't get actually this ask him. Have you guys ever gone on those? Yeah. So what do you think? Give me a place to go. We just got back from the Indian State Cemetery 6 weeks ago. Two other teams with us, I think. All of us. That was pretty cool. That's a cool location. Love the outfit. You didn't dress up though. With a sweatshirt.
They shot today.
Just give me a shot. So, you guys going out and done anything? No? Are you gonna? Where at? Oh, okay. Yeah. I've not been, I know what you're talking about. I've heard. I've never been. So what's the story behind that? Okay. That's the one I'm thinking. I've heard of that. We did one out in Newcastle, Arizona. I reached out and contacted us. He collects dolls. And he was getting activity around his house. He thought he was coming for the dolls. So he reached out to us and said, hey, would you guys come out? I'll give you a house for the night. And let me know if you need these things from me. And sure enough, we had some activity out of a couple of them. Not some of them that he thought was going to get an activity, but some of the other ones. Happened to be the ones that was actually in his bedroom. And not in his spare room. But he didn't want anything cleansed or anything like that. He actually asked us if we could try to ramp it up before we left for him because he enjoyed it. I was like, all right, whatever, man. It's your house. Yeah. Yeah, and at one point I had, so we use catwalk. You guys know the catwalk a lot of. So most, a lot of places use those. So we sat one in the lap of one of those dolls, and we were trying to get it to set the thing off, and it wasn't going off. And we've got comments and stuff on some of our devices. Nothing's getting set off. So I said, well, it did set one time. I don't like it. And we were trying to be a little more forceful to get it set off. And I said, okay, well, you don't have to have it. And I reached over and I picked it up and I took it out on the flat, and it just said, put it back. All right, put it back. So of course it was flashing when I touched it. So when it stopped flashing, I said, all right, you asked for it to go back, and you make it go off. Sure enough. Okay, you can keep it. So I think we left that catwalk there too. They're cheap, so sometimes we just leave them. You guys got questions for me or the team captain? Mine currently out of the places I've been is the Monroe House in Markham City. You guys know that place? So it's a pretty popular place. It's actually been on TV shows before. It was was on the old TV show Paranormal Lockdown, which was Nick Groff and Katrina Weaver. And it's when they found the human remains in the crawl space. And of course they called the authorities, they had shut down production and all of that. And there's some mixed stories about what happened, whether the remains were removed or not removed. What we do know is that the crawl space was not fully excavated, which you would think it would be. But that's the owner's decision. It owns the property, so you can't force him to excavate the property. So he originally bought the property. It's a pretty good size big house. He was going to make it a rental, divide it up into two, make it two different rentals. And as he was bringing contractors in to start the remodel, they were leaving because activity was scaring them off. And then he was having issues with heat and be like, well, I'm going to do it myself. He was having some issues. At some point, and I don't know the exact details, he realized, hey, I can rent this out and make a little money, and we can help you start remodeling this thing. Now it's a big destination place for a lot of people. We are actually going, my team is going next week for 3 nights, and we're going to stay there over Halloween. So it's kind of our big Halloween special. This will be my 6th visit to the property. One of my teammates, Matt, will also be his 6th. Our other teammate, Tyler, will be his 3rd. So we're really looking forward to that. There are lots of rumors of things buried in the yard, things buried under concrete patio. There's also a rumor that a serial killer may have stayed there or not at one time. I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it's false. There's lots of stories that they're going to talk to. There's a lot of reported deaths there. A lot of legit ones from way back that are actually in history. Twice I had caught apparitions looking at us from windows. When we were outside, we caught them on a picture. So I have this picture pretty well. Actually, back here, 23 and 24. Years prior to that, I never caught it. His staff in the basement in that location once, I got my attention. Maybe run out of the basement pretty quickly. That's only happened one time. That was the first place that I felt like I may have touched my spirit. And if you watch anybody else in the shows, it never really heard anybody's comment like this. You feel that, so what did it feel like? So it feels like put your hands through cobwebs. There's no cobwebs, but that's exactly what it feels like. And then I started hearing it on other tubes. I know I didn't feel that. And I was like, okay, well, maybe that's how I was feeling. So that's the best description I can give you. Touch one. I've been touched plenty of times there and scratched. My buddy Matt got scared out of the basement. He was down there doing his own session, and all of a sudden he said just all these voices started going off in his head, and he couldn't make eye control of them, and they were all talking over each other and just freaking out and running out. Matt's always somewhat of a skeptic, and nothing really slips him ever. And he cannot beat the words good. And he talked, he's breathing heavy. Couldn't tell me what's wrong. He had to kind of compose himself and tell me what happened. So we're looking forward to going there next week. Thursday that we're going to be there. We're pretty excited. We're doing a big interview with a film director and investigator, Matt Benton. Matt Benton made a film documentary of the roadhouse called Evil on Earth. It's available on Amazon Prime, YouTube, and it's out somewhere else as well. You guys are getting ready to watch it here soon. And he just, him and his film just swept some awards in Las Vegas recently, so it's pretty cool. We're going to do a live video with him and interview him. He'll be in California, but I'll be at the so we're going to try together and broadcast that live Thursday at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Eastern. It'll definitely be on our Facebook page. So like Paranormal TV, we got cards and stuff we're working on the table for my card. And if possible, I'm also going to show it live on YouTube. So if I'm able to put both together and broadcast it, will 100% be on Facebook. this Thursday, this coming Thursday, 6 o'clock. And then we'll be there for the remaining 3 nights investigating, so during the day and the night. See how active it is over Halloween. Hopefully that ramps up. Halloween's got kind of a two-sided coin on what it means. You know, is it a scary thing or is it actually a celebration? If you look back in history, it's a celebration. So you shouldn't really be afraid of it. You're supposed to be celebrating, right? That's not always the way it's portrayed. More times than not, it's portrayed as something scary, sometimes demonic. I don't know that I've ever been anywhere that something demonic has happened. You know, I've been spooked at places and some negativity has happened. I don't know if I've run into anything that's actually demonic. I know some of the shows you watch, they seem like they get possessed every single show. I just don't believe that. That's true. Now, I'm not saying that they're making it up, but when it's on TV, on network TV, they are intentionally putting a lot of energy into it because they need to keep it on. They need to keep it on TV. So I would rather sit in a place overnight, broadcast it live, and nothing happen than to face it. So if you guys tune in, we're all sitting there bored. We're just going to be really good. But if something happens, that's great. I was telling them earlier, you guys, that my team, we broadcast during the meeting live. So the majority, I'd say the majority, 90% of our investigations we see. So if something happens or doesn't happen, we're all going to see it or hear it together. So. And sometimes, like she mentioned earlier, they'll hear it as they're watching, and we didn't hear it, and they'll comment. And so as the comments come through on the feed, we try to see some of them and leave all of them. But sometimes we catch that. There's a shadow line. You guys hear that? We heard somebody say something, and they will always hear that. Yeah. Like I said, my bucket list is this long. Yeah. So do you know where the say the general it's Manchester? Yeah, the Stone Mansion. General Stone. His first name. Stone is his last. Cell. General Cell Stone.
Very, very good.
We were scheduled to go there a couple of years ago when the tornado hit. And when the tornado went through, it was making a straight line towards the mansion. And when it got to the mansion's property, the tornado split. And you can see it in the grass. It was so
Line in the front yard going up.
yeah.
We got the porch.
It did hit a little bit and some of the trees hit the mansion. For the most part, it spared the mansion altogether. It would have taken it out. Yes. They own a bunch of properties.
The train up.
Yeah. And we were scheduled to be at the mansion when the tornado hit 2 weeks. We were 2 weeks out. And so when that happened, they couldn't let anybody in. They had to bring instructions with you and make sure the house was safe. So they offered us one of their other properties at a discounted rate because of what happened. And it was their newly acquired Louisville Church in June Jones. Yes, all of them June Jones. Okay. So, okay. So, yeah. They convinced over 900 people to take their own lives. Mass suicide rate. So we went there and we had some activity there. It was pretty cool. I did buy some Kool-Aid packets on Amazon and tried to use those as triggers. But I didn't get anything. I still have them, so if I ever go back, I'll try it again for sure. That's why I was thinking I'm gonna make it and drink it this time. Yeah. I just had them in the box, trying to use those as triggers. But yeah, I agree with you. I think next time I go, we should make it Kool-Aid and drink it and see what it stirs it. It was all great. So I actually took great difference in trying to trigger that.
We've seen actual hockey skate or at Mineral Springs. He actually has like Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses. the actual, I think it's called right, like that, of the actual things
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, they had some of the Kool-Aid brand, but they had another brand that was a more prominent brand they had.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So that's pretty wild. I know, I'm glad the other company, they still make that. But it was funny because I did like this, I put on this fake sermon there and I stood at the podium and I had the Kool-Aid thing up there and I just did this big spiel like I was doing a sermon, but I was doing it and tagging myself to try to get stuff to screw up. I don't know that it worked. I've reviewed that video before. Sometimes I review stuff a couple times to see if it's the first time I heard it. Occasionally it happens, you know, you hear something, you get tired of your review. If anybody has done lots of review, oh you are. You spend hours on location and like, I'll take a break and I'll either wait days or a week before I start looking stuff at just to let my brain settle down. Then review is like being at the station hours worth of audio and video and pictures and it takes a lot. My team goes, I'm the one who does all that stuff. It's tiring. It's very tiring. But it's, you know, it's fun. And I got stuff that was years old. Life gets in the way sometimes, and you just don't get to it. Flame rate, that's what it was. That was the prominent one. Yes. Welcome. Doing like, I've been talking to everybody, so I'm talking to everybody. So you believe in ghosts? Yeah? Have you been on a ghost hunt before? No? Are you wanting to go on? You don't know? They have an excellent place right here in Crawfordsville. Someone already got here. Just so you know.
All right.
ever forget about this. So I'll mention a few other places that I've been to, and I bring it up, not so much to promote her, but to promote her role because they were really good for me. I seen the over there. The Asher Walton House, if anyone has any sort of that. It's in Asher Walton. It is right down the road. Not been road, been to Asher. Went twice actually this past year to Asher 2 different times. And one of the more significant things that happened there was the second visit there. One of our friends came and she dressed in kind of period clothing. The house was built in the 1800s, so she got into that. So she dressed in kind of period clothing. And she also wears, another room and stuff. And she likes dressing like that. Well, when she had walked in, one of the other guys who was a guest with us, we were taking notice at a thing, we probably one going up to high school. And when she walks in the door, we're already in. She walks in and the device says female. So and the rest of us were guys. So it identifies a female walking in the house and then it says husband. How in the world could it do that? It's like, okay, well that gives me some confidence that that's one of the apps that's actually valid. And then she had some other communication that was going on. So there was a rumor that Mr. Walton wasn't exactly an upstanding guy with his wife, that he had something going on with Amy. Well, there might be a little truth to that. We were all upstairs in the main bedroom, which back then the room off to the side was actually the nursery. And that nursery has separate rooms. So Amy could come and go in there, take care of the baby, and not bother when she was walking. Well, apparently he had something going on with her. And we were in there and we were all investigating and asked her, and we were introducing our female guest to Mr. Walton while we were up there. And the device comes through and says, straight. She was like, I don't think so. And then it was she was going to go outside. It was super hot there. That visit we were there. It was middle of the summer. It was hot in there. So didn't have any AC. It was super hot. It was actually better to step outside in the 90-degree heat than to stay inside the house for a minute. So she was stepping outside for a moment, and the stairs go right down to the main door of the loft. And we had a device right. And as she walked past the device, the device turned crazy. And so got her attention. She stepped back, stepped away from it, stopped. She went to go out again, it starts going crazy. And so we're like, Mr. Walton, is that you not wanting her to leave? And so we said, step away from that. So I walked up to it to see it didn't walk. My teammate Matt walks up to it, but so she goes up to it again, and so I went and stood between her and the device to get her out. And as I did that, it did not go off. So we were kind of talking and stuff like that to it and talking to Mr. Walton. We think it was him, and he didn't want her to go outside. I don't think she's coming back. It's crazy hot. It's crazy hot. If the heat doesn't bother you, then go in the summer, but we were literally pouring inside. It was funny because the first time we went, it was like 10 degrees outside. So if we were curious to go outside, you gotta pick a better time to go next time you go. So, and the other location I wanted to mention was, it's called the State House. And it's in Fort Wayne. And it's newer. I believe they just opened it up at the start of the year for investigations. Bree and Nick run that one, and they've been doing paranormal stuff for a long time. And it's actually a childhood home mix that story right now. And they were getting ready to get rid of the house altogether, and Bree and Nick convinced his mom, like, hey, we know the house is fine. We can start bringing some teams in and see if they start getting activity and stuff like that. So when they decided to make that public, that when it started here, we jumped on it, and we went like the first of April. So we were one of the first 4 or 5 teams in the house, and sure enough, it is. one of the things that, yeah, it's called the State House. They also have a Facebook page. Really, you guys should go look for it. One of the things that stands out to me is we were upstairs. It's got two floors in the basement, and we were upstairs. Tyler and I were there yesterday, and we had a motion sensor set up at the bottom of the basement stairs. And there was no one else in the house, and we heard the motion sensor go off from the ceiling. Something walking, something moving in front of us. Something had to make that go off because it won't go off without us. That was pretty cool. Lots and lots of footsteps. Lots of movement. And then of course we heard voices and stuff. We just couldn't quite make them out. They were so faint. I just heard it, but I don't know if it's sick. No, we actually heard it. Yeah. And we had some stuff with our devices too. It sounded a little muffled and stuff. But yeah, we heard a lot around here. It sounded like whispers and stuff. But we couldn't quite make out what it sounded. And then my last one that I want to mention to you guys, this was also a newer location. The house was built in 1868. I just went there a couple weeks ago because the owners of the property invited us out because they wanted to know if the house had any activity. Is this house haunted? They don't live in the house. It's actually part of a larger ranch. And it's called the Willie Yak Ranch. And they have yaks. And they got a lot of other stuff. They do other events and stuff there. It's a really cool place. They do wine tastings, so it's like that kind of thing. Go there for that. And they have their own food trucks. They've got their event, you know, you can food and eat it. So we went out to investigate, not knowing what we were going to get into. We didn't know if we had any activity. And so they gave us the house for the night, and sure enough, that old house was active. We got a lot of good activity out there. And that's a recent one that we just went to, so guys, I think it's still on the Facebook page. Facebook has this thing now where they delete your live videos after 30 days. So shortly after I go to a place, I got to download those videos off Facebook. And then I usually transfer to the YouTube channel. So that way I don't lose them. You know, they're always going to be out there where I have them downloads. This is in Arcadia. They have not started doing that. That's one of the reasons that they had me come out there. To check that out, so I don't know if they've made any further decisions. I'm going to put together like a video report on the activity we did in the history of the place. As we looked up a lot of the history of the land and who had owned it prior, back in early 1800s. And so we had identified some landowners, and sure enough, with those names that wrapped up the activity. So we want to go back and even get through, we only had one night, so we have more names than we'd like to try to touch base on. So we can come back anytime we want, so we'll try to set something up again and try to go back. I think in that one, because it had never been investigated, and the house is so old and so many of the spirits in it are old, they were trying to figure us up as much as we were trying to figure them out. I think the more they get people doing that, whether it's my team or other teams, they'll maybe be a little more. And the equipment, they're trying to figure that stuff out as well. They figured it out pretty quickly. They were setting off a lot of our stuff. It's pretty cool. We have one device that got over at my table. It's a cough, and it's kind of like a ring pot. It goes how a ring pot is. Get up to it. The ring pot though also does temperature. The problem with temperature is just because something when somebody comes up, you know. That thing never goes. I've had that thing for a number of years. It's went off once in 3 years. And it went off fast. It was pretty cool. And it was during Tyler's solo, and it caught him off guard because he was not expecting that thing to go off because it never goes off. And yeah, he kind of jumped when that went off. That was pretty cool. So that was a good thing. But yeah, that's a cool place to go. Even if you don't go for the ghosts, you just go because they do a lot of things. They have Facebook pages. They have a website, WoollyYak.com. Willie Yak Ranch. Willie, W-O-L-L-Y. Yeah. There. All right, we're at our first. The owners are fantastic. That's our hour. For those of you who joined us a little late, sorry. And we got 15 cats Yeah. I got some freebies over there I'll give away to you. I got some stuff for sale. So. Thank you guys so much. I got to see you over there. I'll show them my own stuff. I'm trying to get my stuff. Let me give yourself away.
Okay, she knows where we are.
For anyone who was watching, thank you so much. I'll replay this and you guys can all see it again.
Yeah.